준비되셨나요?
네.
더스티 크로버프를 들려주세요.
When waiting to round to blow, racing champion Dusty Crowhopper is forced to slow down. It looks as if his racing days may be over for good. Join it as he explores a new career filled with daring and adventure. You don't know it's time to turn the page when you hear this sound. Let's begin now. Dusty Crowhopper was a world-famous racing champion, but he always made time for his friends at Parragon Junction. One day, after Dusty had returned home for a brilliant race, he and his coach Skipper, a fighter plane, went on a new test run together. Slowly, Dusty started losing control and altitude. Skipper guided a weakening Dusty to shaky emergency landing. Later, Dusty's mechanics delivered the bad news. The reduction gearbox is failing. Dottie explained that even worse, she couldn't get a replacement because Dusty's gearbox was no longer being made. Look, I'm gonna install the warning light on your panel. If it comes on, you need to pull power. Dusty knew what that meant. He wouldn't be able to race anymore. Dusty was heartbroken. That night, Dusty took off by himself, but as he started to go faster, the warning light began to blink. While Dusty was looking at his light, he accidentally clipped the tower and spun out of control. He made a bumpy landing, but before he could stop, he crashed. He slammed into filling fried gas station. The gas pump exploded. Mayday, the town's fire engine took control as Dottie and Sparky unrolled his fire hose and attacked it to a hydrant, but the hose began to leak. Mayday looked at the water tower. "I'm gonna need some help." Dusty and his friends worked together to top over the tower. It sucked the water zoom to put out the flames. Later, the next day, the airport was shut down by safety officials. It couldn't reopen until Mayday hired a second firefighter. Back at Mayday's hair, Dusty felt terrible. "I wish there's something I could do." Then he spotted a picture of Mayday and an old crop dusting plane. Mayday told Dusty how he had gotten to see one of the first aerial firefighters in action. Instead of cropping crops, like you used to do, to draw water. Dusty had an idea. He could become Parragon Junction's second firefighter. Dusty flew to the Piston Peak Air Attack Base. Mayday had an old friend there named Blade Ranger, who was a fire and rescue helicopter. Blade had trained Dusty to be a firefighter. All of the Piston Peak crew were down when Dusty arrived, except for Blade. He was searching for powerful fires. Sally, a horror, Patch, who ran a control tower, informed everyone about a wildfire in Canada north of Parragon Ridge. Dusty's eyes wide. "I gotta see this." Dusty watched in amazement as everybody instantly getting equipment and supplies. They were all on their way in minutes. Dusty was right behind. When they reached the fire, Blade was already trying to put out the flames. Tipper set her for a drop. Tipper, a super scooper plane, diver, race fire engine, a windlifter, a helicopter, did the same. Next, the smoke jumpers had an arrow power, a transform plane. Blade told them to build a fire line to keep the blaze from spreading. Then noticed Dusty. He was not happy to have a rocky in the way. Get out from this airspace!" Back at the base when the fire was out, Blade had fitted Dusty with a pair of pontoons. When Dusty completely and shaky dodged and run, it was time to go into the classroom. Later, Blade set off some blades on the runway. Dusty tried to hit them with a turn, while Blade coached him over the radio. Too early, too high, too low. After days of hard training, Dusty heard friends back in Parragon Junction. Dusty's best friend, Chuck the fuel truck, announced that they had found the gearbox and would have it in a couple of days. Dusty couldn't believe it. "This is the best news, just I need to hear right now. He wouldn't have to give up racing after all." The next time Patch sounded the warning signal, Dusty and the others gathered around Blade as they explained the situation. A lightning storm caught the whole speeding spotlight and emerged. This is a big one. Even though he didn't finish his training, Dusty thought he was ready. "I want to help." Reluctantly, Blade let Dusty join. As the crew worked together to contain the fire, the windlass and the snow jumpers appearing. Dynamite calmly whirring, just as the tree fell and blocked the escape run. Dusty rushed in. I see him! I got it! He made a perfect drop, and the Dynamite and the others were able to escape. Later, the firefighter noticed the private jet soaring overhead. Cat Spinner, the superintendent of the park, was throwing a party for the grand reopening of the fuselage that night. Cat had invited Dusty to a party. He knew having a superstar racer that would impress his boss. I'm all for a promotion. Later that evening, Dusty rolled onto the veranda. He joined his sweet friends at a sweet war near a couple named Winnie and Harvey around the fire pit. As they talked, Dusty was surprised to learn that they were working on their second careers. Even most of the firefighters had other jobs before becoming the Piston Pig crew. The next morning, Chuck called with bad news. They hadn't found the gearbox Dusty needed after all. Dusty was putting on his disappointment when Patch announced that there was a fire heading toward the fuselage. Blade Radio Maru, he excellent mechanic. We have to evacuate. Later in the year, Blade told Dusty to drop half of the load on the fire, but the train mistakenly released it all. When Dusty tried to reload to the lakes, the strong current pulled him toward the waterfall. Blade urged him to take off. Now red light, push your engines! Dusty's warning line came on. He had no choice but to pull power. Dusty was almost to the falls. At the last minute, Blade scooped in and snapped the plane with his horse. In front of the abandoned mining shaft, Dusty told Blade about his broken gearbox. He was discouraged and wanted to give up firefighting. Blade tried to encourage him. If you give up today, think of all the lives you won't save tomorrow. As the fire closed in, the two hurried into the mine shaft. When the fire reached the entrance, Blade shielded Dusty to keep him safe. After the fire moved past, the injured Blade tried to take off and slammed into the ground. Dusty was in the radio in a flash. Patch, come in! Blade is down. I repeat, Blade is down. When Lester arrived, your airlift's back. Blade back to the base for emergency repairs. Back at the fuselage, vanished gas spread everywhere they could. Cat seemed more uncertain about his hotel than about them. He gave an order to his assistant. We brought the main water line to wristband skirts. Cat was going to take the water. The firefighter needed to make one returning. With Blade down, one Lester was in charge. He let every one of the water hoses, but nothing came out from the hoses. All we have is left ordering our tanks. Let's make it count. The firefighter flew straight to the block answer. Then the trains were about to overtake the train full of guests. Dusty desperately rushed in and made a perfect drop. There was no time for Dusty to celebrate. Harvey and Winnie were trapped on the burning bridge. Dusty excitedly climbed up the bridge, scooping water all the way. He pushed hard, even if his red light started to blink. A repair Blade arrived in time to help. Dusty flew the pass in the water in one pass. His plans were safe. Blade congratulated him. Good move, partner. A terrible wagging air flew in the air. Dusty Crop had stopped screaming. His smile faded, and he began to turn to the ground in an incredible fast speed. Not even Blade could stop him from crashing. After days later, when Dusty woke up days later, his air attack friends were overjoyed to see their new team member again. Maru had a special surprise for Dusty. He had built him a new gearbox. Blade smiled and Dusty replied, Crop I say you earned that certification. Dusty was better than you. Now he could fight fires and keep racing. Back in Power Wash Junction, Mayday was better than you too, thanks to Dottie. And with Dusty there, the airport had reopened. Mayday was so grateful. To do what you did, it takes a special kind of plane. Later, the Piston Big Air Attack crew took to the sky. It was the best air show anyone had ever seen.